let's jump right in. Today, we're exploring the definitive guide to Runway Gen-2 AI video synthesis. Now, look, we already know generative AI is completely changing the game, right? But honestly, Gen 2 feels like it was pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're going to break down exactly how the mechanics work, the trade-offs you need to know about, and most importantly, how you can actually master it. So here's a crazy thought. What if you could film an entire movie without ever touching a camera? Imagine just generating high-quality cinematic scenes literally out of thin air. No hiring actors, no massive lighting rigs to set up, no super expensive 3D rendering software. It's just your imagination and a simple text box. I know, it sounds like pure magic, but as we'll see today, it is very real, it's highly accessible, and it is absolutely transforming how we think about visual storytelling. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to meet Runway Gen 2, look at the science of synthesis, weigh the advantages and limitations, walk through a step-by-step guide, and finally, learn how to fine-tune your masterpiece. All right, Section 1, meet Runway Gen 2. So at its core, Runway Gen 2 is a multimodal generative AI model. And what that actually means for us is that it synthesizes novel, high-quality video pixels completely from scratch. When you fire up this tool, the AI isn't just scrubbing the internet, finding old stock footage, and awkwardly mashing it together. Nope, it is generating entirely new pixels, frame by frame. It effectively replaces the need for traditional cameras or heavy rendering software. Now, this tech basically operates through three primary functions. First up, you've got text-to-video, where you generate a scene purely from a descriptive prompt. You just type some words and boom, you watch them come to life. Second is image-to-video. This lets you take a static reference image, like maybe a photo you shot on your phone, and animate it into a moving scene. And third is video-to-video, where you apply a totally new visual style to an existing clip. You could literally take a standard video of someone walking down the street and completely transform it into, say, a claymation animation. The versatility here is just phenomenal. Section 2. The Science of Synthesis. Let's look under the hood. The absolute core technology powering Gen 2 is called the latent diffusion model. If you want to really get generative AI, this is the main concept to grasp. Imagine a canvas of pure, random visual static, kind of like an old TV tuned to a dead channel. We call this noise. When you give the AI a prompt, it doesn't just instantly paint a perfect picture. Instead, over multiple, super fast steps, the system progressively subtracts that visual noise. It arranges and refines the pixels until a clear, sharp picture emerges that matches what you typed. It's literally like a sculptor chipping away at a block of marble to reveal the statue hidden inside. It subtracts the chaos to find the image. There are three foundational pillars making this whole diffusion process possible. First up is training data. Gen 2 was trained on a massive, diverse dataset of videos, images, and text. That's how the AI learned that the word dog matches the actual visual of a dog, and more importantly, how physical objects actually move and interact in space over time. Next is the diffusion process we just talked about, subtracting the noise. But the third pillar is really what makes Gen 2 special for video, and that is temporal consistency. Unlike a standard image generator that just spits out one static picture, Gen 2 has a built-in temporal layer. It calculates how the pixels in frame 1 should logically progress into frame 2, and then frame 3, keeping the environment and the subjects relatively stable as the whole clip plays out. Moving on to Section 3, Advantages and Limitations. Let's be real for a second. With any tech like this, everything is a trade-off. On the plus side, you gain rapid prototyping. You can instantly visualize concepts without filming a single thing. But on the flip side, you risk temporal morphing. Sure, your sci-fi cityscape might look absolutely incredible, right up until the AI suddenly decides your main character's hands should melt into their coffee cup mid-video. Next up, high accessibility. It requires zero camera gear and runs entirely in the cloud. The disadvantage? Cost. High-quality generation burns through compute credits pretty fast, so if you're using it a lot, you're going to need a paid subscription. Third, you get massive creative flexibility, seamlessly bouncing from photorealistic to crazy surreal art styles. But the trade-off there is limited directorial control. It's actually really hard to give the AI precise sequential blocking, like telling a character to pick up a glass and then look to the left. Finally, it has a highly user-friendly interface, but you're dealing with length constraints. By default, generations are quite short, usually just 4 seconds long. And while you can extend them, doing that definitely reduces that temporal consistency we just talked about. All right, Section 4, your step-by-step guide. Let's start generating. Setting this all up is incredibly straightforward. For step 1, just open up your browser and navigate to runwayml.com.
Hit sign up, and you can even just use your Google or Apple account to make it instant. Once you're staring at your dashboard, find the Generate Video section and click right on Gen 2 text to video or image to video. And just like that, you're in the workspace and ready to go. Step 2 is choosing how you actually want to communicate with the AI using that input box at the bottom of your screen. You basically have 3 distinct options here. Text only means exactly what it sounds like. You just type out what you want to see. Image only lets you upload a static picture and simply let the AI figure out how to animate it. But honestly, the true powerhouse option is image plus text. This is where you upload a picture and then type a prompt to tell the AI exactly how you want that specific image to move, behave, and interact with its environment. It gives you the ultimate creative leverage. And using image and text actually leads us to a pretty incredible pro tip for character consistency. If you're animating a specific character and you really want them to look exactly the same throughout the video, do not rely on just text. Instead, prioritize a really high-quality reference image. The trick here is to keep the subject's facial features completely unaltered from that image while using your text prompt to change their pose, the lighting, or the surrounding environment. It totally locks in their identity while giving you the creative freedom over the whole scene. Now for step 3, writing a truly effective prompt. If you're using text, there is a structural formula to get the absolute best results from the diffusion model. Honestly, think of it as a cheat code. First, clearly state the subject. Who or what is the focus? Next, the action. What are they doing? Keep this part simple, like walking or looking at the camera. Then, specify the environment or lighting. Think of phrases like golden hour, cyberpunk city, or foggy forest. Finally, dictate this style or format. Give the AI camera instructions like cinematic, 35mm lens, photorealistic, 4K. Stacking your prompt in this exact order gives the AI a perfect logical blueprint to work from. Section 5. Fine-tuning your masterpiece. Let's look at those advanced settings. Right near your prompt box, you're going to see a little settings icon. If you click that open, the first tool you'll find is camera motion. This is so cool because it allows you to simulate traditional cinematic camera moves directly inside the generated video. Without ever needing to rent a drone or lug around a heavy tripod, you can tell the AI to execute a sweeping pan across a landscape, tilt up towards the sky, zoom right in for a close-up, or even roll the camera for this wild, disorienting, dramatic effect. Then we have the motion brush. If you are using an uploaded image as your starting point, I'm telling you, this tool is an absolute game changer. It allows you to literally paint over a specific area of your static image to isolate movement exactly where you want it. So let's say you upload a picture of a landscape. You can just paint over the river or maybe just the smoke coming out of a cabin chimney. The AI will leave the rest of the image perfectly still and only animate the areas you brushed over. It gives you this incredible level of targeted directorial control. And finally, we have the general motion slider, which ranges from 1 to 10. This setting dictates the overall intensity of the movement in your clip, and it honestly requires a bit of a balancing act. If you set it to a low number, like a 1, you're going to get highly stable results, but they will be fairly static, not a lot of crazy action. If you crank it all the way up to a 10, you are getting Michael Bay levels of action, but you significantly increase the risk of that temporal morphing and hallucination we discussed earlier. So finding that sweet spot for your specific prompt is absolutely key. And that brings us to step 5, generate and download. You've dialed in your prompt, you've tweaked your camera motion and your sliders. Now you simply click the generate button. You wait a few moments while Runway's cloud servers do all the heavy computational lifting, subtracting that noise frame by frame. And then the magic happens. Your brand new scene pops up right there in your workspace, literally synthesized from nothing. If you love it, you just click the download icon in the top right corner to save the crisp MP4 straight to your device. And hey, if it's not quite right, you just tweak your prompt, adjust your sliders, and generate a new reality all over again. So I want to leave you with this final thought. When anyone can synthesize reality from a simple text box, what are you going to create? We've just walked through exactly how a technology like Runway Gen-2 works, from the latent diffusion models wiping away static, all the way to the practical steps of typing in cyberpunk city and getting a 4K video out the other end. The traditional barriers to high-end visual production are vanishing right before our eyes. The tools are there, they're sitting right in your browser, and they are just waiting for your ideas. Thanks so much for joining me in today's explainer, and I highly encourage you to go out there, experiment, and see what you can build.